Hello and welcome to Recharge Wrestling. We are here to plug you in to the world of professional wrestling. I'm Keeney and I'm joined by Fisher.
Hello, guys.
And this is our AEW review of the last week. So Rampage from last Friday and Dynamite from last night. Just the two of us. So check out our WWE podcast, which will be released tomorrow, Friday. We're recording this on a Thursday. So the pod for WWE will be released tomorrow if you're interested in that. But for this, we are just focusing on AEW. So let's get into the last week. And I mean, we start with Rampage last Friday.
Yeah.
Which was a big episode of Rampage, really, because we had the Royal Rampage, this Royal Rumble style.
Yes,
match.
bit of a cheap rip-off of the Royal Rumble, if you want to call it that.
I mean, what did you make of the concept of the match?
I thought it was a clever use of the two rings that they still have, because obviously it was recorded after Blood and Guts. So they had the two rings. So to do something with them, I thought was quite a clever concept. But I didn't think the match worked that well. It felt like, I don't know, because they didn't all mesh together. It didn't work. The idea, I think, was great. I don't think the execution of it was that good. And I think the people in the match weren't all like top people that could have been title contenders either. But yeah, I like the concept of it. I just didn't think the match was actually that good. And to be honest, I didn't think there was that much actual wrestling in it until right towards the end. It felt like it was entrant. And I was getting confused at one point whose turn it is to go in where.
Yeah.
As well, a little bit. It was okay. And it was something different, but I don't think they'll be rushing to do it again. I think they'll change it. If they do something like this again, I think they'll change it slightly.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. I think they're obviously picking up on the Royal Rumble idea and trying to modify it slightly. And like I say, it's a good use of the two rings. It's actually quite a cool way to do it.
Yeah.
With the two rings there, but the Royal Rumble concept is pretty flawless. I don't really like.
Yeah,
they're obviously trying to upgrade it, and we've seen in the past they've done battle royals where the last two is a pinfall, so they always try and change it slightly.
I don't mind that side of it, but
that's not too bad. And we've seen reverse Royal Rumbles in I think Impact. You throw them into the ring.
That was dreadful.
Yeah, there's been loads of variations or attempts to modify a Royal Rumble, but none of them are just. The Royal Rumble is just the best.
Yeah, I think this would have been better, actually, thinking about it, if they had scrapped doing entrant by entrant, like Royal Rumble, and just the two rings, 10 entrants in each ring, but they're all in there at the same time.
Yeah.
So then you forget about, you haven't got the entrance. Okay, you don't get the entrance pops, but you've got a lot more match to play with. Because I think it went about half an hour, the match. It was like half of Rampage. So I think it might have been just under half an hour, maybe 25 minutes. But it felt like only 10 minutes of it was actually a wrestling match. The rest of it was entrances and just little bits of angle here and there. So yeah, I think it needed tweaking. And the winner was really unexpected and interesting. I will say that.
It was.
And I saw people complaining about it online, but I actually think it was quite a good. I don't think it was a bad call.
And
for a fill-off match.
Also, the actual finish itself, the sleeper hold on Darby Allin and just dropping him. That was a really cool finish to I've never seen that kind of. We probably have seen that before, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it has happened before, but
I just thought it was really cool.
Not that common spot,
to be on Darby Allin as well kind of works with his gimmick. It just kind of works as a finish, I thought.
Yeah.
So I thought that was good, but I thought, Brody King was a surprise when I was not expecting him to win it when all the people were out there.
No, I thought Hangman might have a chance. I thought Darby might have a chance. There was a couple of others. I thought even maybe you could do Keith Lee versus Moxley as a random match. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something like that would have been cool. But yeah, I really didn't expect Brody King. But
yeah, but then I guess this is Moxley's first defense, and
it was just a TV match the next week. It wasn't setting up a feud, was it?
Yeah.
I think that was the key to it. I think if it was setting up something huge for like a program, 3-4 weeks of build, then a pay-per-view match, I think it would have been a bad decision to give it to Brody King randomly. But actually, to give him just a title match, they're quite good AEW at randomly doing that. They've done it in the past with title matches where people have won it, and then I know they did it with Lance Archer before with the Hangman Page thing and stuff. Yeah. They did build that a little bit, but here I thought it wasn't a bad choice in that sense, even though it got no reaction from the crowd. It sounded like.
Well, anyway. Why would you get behind Brody King? We haven't had a reason to get behind him yet, really. I think one issue I've got with this is the fact that we decided that Moxley was going to be the interim, or go on to fight for the interim title.
Yeah.
Well, he was in the main event, wasn't he? And there was a battle royal to face him.
Oh yeah.
So that we've already kind of seen this for a number one contendership, and I think there were some criticisms of that because it kind of makes a mockery, a mockery of their ranking system a bit. That you just throw anyone into. And
the ranking system has not been that particularly. Used for a while.
They do still post the rankings, and there is still a ranking
normally
system.
They have the rule is, I think, if you're a top 5 ranked, you can go for the title. You don't have to be number 1. They've done it like that. But Brody King's not in the top 5 as far as I know.
And nor was Kyle O'Reilly before.
So they kind of do go away from
I think they'd be better off with doing like a fatal 4-way of the top 4 ranked people and just say, that for me is a better way to decide who fights Jon Moxley next, rather than just and to do a battle royal to fight Jon Moxley, then Jon Moxley to then win it, to then his first offense to be another a Royal Rumble rather than a battle royal, but the same concept, to then fight him again. Are they do the same again next week? Like I just think to do them back to back to fight Jon Moxley is a bit I literally think the only reason they did it was because they had the 2 rings idea, and Tony Khan being the sort of wrestling mark he is almost for coming up with stuff, old ideas, but then making them like fantasy booking stuff in his head all the time. He probably had this crazy idea. It was we can have red side, we can have blue side, we can do, and he probably just come up with this idea, and it sounded amazing, and it did sound good actually. But when it came to it, I don't think it delivered as much as they would have liked it to. I don't think it helped that there wasn't imagine if this was in a different, if you did this on a pay-per-view, like the Royal Rumble is, and you had Omega, Punk, Danielson, Jericho, all these top guys that they've got, MJF, Wardlow, all these people were in it. Then I'd be like, wow, this is amazing. But I think because it felt like there was only a couple of people really in it that were ever going to win it, I think Butcher and Blade were in there right near the end. That tells you the standard of it wasn't really their top stars, and I think that didn't help the match either. Let's get to the actual sort of match itself and the people in it. So it started with Darby Allin and Tony Nese, I think, in one ring, and Hangman Page and Powerhouse Hobbs in the other one. Yeah, Hobbs. Yeah.
And then literally my notes is there's hardly any wrestling. It's just entrant, elimination. That's what sort of my criticism was. There wasn't a lot else for me to write. There was a cool tope by Darby on Nese after he got eliminated. I think Nese was eliminated anyway at that point. He was the first one out, I'm pretty sure. Which I think he has been in a battle royal before on AEW TV as well. But then Ricky Starks come in, and I did like the sort of them having the 2-on-1 beatdown aspect here with Starks and Hobbs and Hangman. And then they did the same thing on the other ring with Butcher and Blade coming in. And Butcher came in and he was just beating the crap out of Darby on the outside after he'd done his tope. Then you got John Silver come in, even the odds side of the Hangman. So some of the entrants were numbered quite well, I thought, here at the start.
I think that's vital when you're doing a match like this. We did see a kind of betrayal, although the Swerve Keith Lee elimination. So that is building up, and this is another one of AEW's very long-term tag team breakups. They tend to, whenever there's a tag team breakup, they plant the seed 6 months in advance, it feels like. So I don't think we're going to get this breakup anytime soon, but it's coming down the line eventually.
I like the teasing eliminations that Hangman and John Silver did at the start as well. That was quite good. Then Max Caster came in, Penta, Roosh, all these guys came in. Keith Lee then entered as well. Matt Hardy came in, and he actually got a really big pop when he came in. This felt like a Royal Rumble style entrance where Matt Hardy's not been on TV for a few weeks. The music hits and you're like, that. I wanted more of that kind of entrance. But it was, every entrance almost gets a pop in AEW, but it did feel like, okay, here's Max Caster, like he's not going to win the match. Here's Butcher, Blade, whatever. Matt Hardy actually felt quite special in that moment, which was quite nice. Dustin then came in as well. Roosh hit a low blow to Penta. They sort of set up their match for Dynamite, didn't they, in this thing? Because Frankie Kazarian come in, he was barely in it. I barely remember him being
Frankie Kazarian, yeah.
Dante Martin too. One guy that then came in, and I've mentioned him before that I didn't know him before, but I became a fan, is Takeshita.
Yeah.
He was really good when he came in.
Yeah, really impressed by him.
Yeah, great double suplex. I can't remember which two men it was. He did a double suplex. I think Darby Allin was one of them. I can't remember who the other one was. But he did a double suplex on them. And then him and Orange Cassidy had a little segment as well, which was really good. So yeah, I really like him. I think I don't know if he's signed to AEW now, but he seems to keep appearing. And he gets a reaction. So
this kind of felt like, and there's another match on this card, but it felt like kind of the like remains of Forbidden Door, just to keep a couple of the New Japan stars kind of in your mind after the show. And I think that's probably what this was, rather than
possibly
anything.
Yeah, I'm not sure what his sort of status is to Takeshita, but I wouldn't mind seeing more of him on TV. Out of all the people, I mean, obviously I'd love to see like Will Ospreay, but he's not going to be coming over to. He doesn't live in the United States or anything. But if Takeshita's around for a bit, using him more would be cool, I think.
He's really good.
Then you got Butcher and Blade actually eliminated him, which got booed. Swerve got taken out not long after that by Hobbs and Starks, and then that feud that's been going for months on and off, it feels like. Still going again on Dynamite. Yeah. And then sort of towards the end, there was the Page elimination was really good. So he eliminated Ricky Starks and he's on the apron, and then he goes to do the buckshot lariat, and Brody King just takes him out. And the crowd, I think, was stunned that happened at that point, that Hangman Page got eliminated by Brody. And then it was basically Darby with Butcher and Blade in one ring, and Brody King waiting in the other, basically.
Yeah,
and then Butcher and Blade. Cool. Yeah, and Butcher and Blade, of all people, to be there right near the end. Barely been on TV recently. And then, so Darby manages to impressively eliminate both of them. But then obviously that leaves him one-on-one with King, who went straight at Darby. I like the fact he went straight for him.
Yep.
And then they have a bit of a brawl, bit of a match, which was decent enough. Nice cannonball from Brody. Then eventually, like he said, does that sleeper to finish it and win.
Yeah. No, I thought the finish was very cool. So I think the ending of the Royal Rampage was booked quite well, but like you say, it was just a lot of entrances and nothingness for a lot of the match.
Yeah, it didn't feel like there were loads of like big moments in it, and there wasn't loads of stare off. So I was like, okay, this is really cool, because it was kind of just mid card guys or whatever, or guys with new stuff. There's no surprise entrances or anything like that that you get on some of the big.
I'm glad for that, by the way.
I'm kind of glad there is, but like, yeah, they probably didn't need them here, but
no,
yeah. It was okay. It was okay. I think it was one of those things. It's worth trying. It's a concept. Like, let's go with it. And then maybe they'll do it again in the future, but they might tweak it.
Yeah,
I think.
I don't blame them for trying it at all with the two rings. I think it was, a very smart concept. It just, maybe, there were just a few issues with it, but that's going to be the case when you try new things. Nothing's perfect first time round.
No.
We then got an eliminator match. So the tag team champs, the Young Bucks, against Bishamon, Hiroki Goto, and Yoshihashi, who we saw at Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
Didn't really do much for me at Forbidden Door, these two, but I thought they would look quite good here against the
Bucks.
Bucks.
It's just kind of a pre-show match, wasn't it, against QT Marshall, wasn't it? And Aaron Solo. So this is a little bit of a higher caliber match for them to be in there with the Young Bucks.
Yeah, I thought they looked good here, but
this match was good, and I loved again the use of the other ring here, because one of them is in. I can't remember which guy it was, so apologies for that. But one of the guys is in the other ring, and Nick Jackson, I think it was. I also get the Young Bucks mixed up sometimes.
Yeah.
jumps into the other ring. They hit the BTE trigger on one of them. He dives into the other ring, takes out the other member, then like jumps off the rope into the Meltzer driver to win. So that was the finish. It was a really cool finish. And again, they used the other ring nicely, which I liked. If you've got the second ring there, you might as well do something with it. So the match was good. There was not a lot else to say. I think was it actually a title match? It was, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. It was
wasn't it?
If they won, they got a title match. It's
so
one
basically
of those
a championship contenders match.
Championship contender. AW called it an eliminator match, but it's essentially
basically the same thing.
The same thing.
I think it was quite obvious the Young Bucks were winning, but there's nothing wrong with that as such.
It is, but it's just nice to see Young Bucks wrestle because they are extremely talented wrestlers, and the fact that they come up with they're very inventive with moves and transition into moves. They're probably the most inventive tag team out there in terms of how they do stuff like this. It's just ridiculous the stuff they do, and it's good to see a bit more of Goto and Hashi, but unfortunately it's probably the last we'll see of them until Forbidden Door next time round. And then we got the main event, Nyla Rose v Tony
I was confused
Storm.
why the Royal Rampage was going back to it. Wasn't placed here as well, a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's just opening up the show.
I actually thought it was going to be when it opened the show. I thought it was going to be the whole show.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been a bad way to do it.
I actually thought, maybe this match is just going to be 50 minutes long, but I thought actually it's quite long because there's only 20 people, not 30. Because the Royal Rumbles can be an hour long, can't they?
Yeah, and
20
the entrances are more spread out.
So I thought, can I drag this out for an hour? But then, I forgot about the other two matches being on the card. So that was interesting that this main evented.
And then Nyla Rose playing her role as the transitional heel. She just plays this role in AEW very well.
Yeah. There wasn't a lot to say about this.
No, it wasn't. Tony Storm got the win in a fairly close fought match.
But it set up what it did was set up.
Yeah, the Marina attack
because the beatdown afterwards, Thunder Rosa made the save, and then we got a match between the two teams again on Dynamite.
Yeah, in their tag team name Thunderstorm, which is quite cool.
Yeah, that makes complete sense.
It's
just Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm. I was like, actually, that fits perfectly. Why didn't I see that coming? Yeah,
I
so easy.
like that. Yeah.
So easy. There was the only other thing on Rampage worth noting really was there was a little cool bit with Hook and he threatened Alex Marvez randomly. Got angry with him. Other than that, there wasn't a lot to the show. But it was a decent episode because, like I said, the Royal Rampage had a different feel to it. The main event and the other match were good.
Yeah,
Rampage is normally like just an hour of solid wrestling. Not else. A lot happens that's noteworthy. Obviously, Brody King being number one contender was noteworthy here. But you normally just get.
Well, it's interesting to put that match on a Rampage, that Battle Royal or Royal Rumble, rather than a show where less people watch. Yes, well, it's obviously a hook to try and get more people to watch, but yeah, it was good. Then we go on to Dynamite. I need to call it Rampage. I was trying to remember which one was which. Move on to Dynamite, and we opened with a TNT Championship street fight.
Yes.
What did you make of this match?
It was great in the sense that Wardlow won the title. I'm glad he won here because I thought they were going to come up with some way to screw him over. With it being a street fight stipulation, especially, I thought you can have loads of people interfering because there was people on the outside.
Well, we did get them, didn't we?
We did get them interfering, but I thought that may cost Wardlow here. And I thought, do you know what? I know Scorpio Sky's not had the title again that long. Like he won it sort of back off. But honestly, Wardlow needs a title or something at this point. He's so good and so over the fans. So I was really pleased with the result. One thing I will say about it, I didn't think it needed to be a street fight because there wasn't a lot of. I was expecting like loads of weapons and all this kind of stuff. There wasn't really that much to it other than the belt shot. Obviously, I think the reason they made it a street fight was so that people could interfere.
Yeah,
and it was basically
Tony Khan's got this thing with just having Wardlow beat up 20 people at once. That he's done it for a few months now, so it's just his thing.
So I think he used that as an excuse for that to happen and it not be like they don't get disqualified if they hit him. And obviously Scorpio Sky using the belt, he didn't get disqualified either. That suckered me because I thought he might lose there when he hit him on the head. It was quite early on though, so it wasn't a very long match, but that bit was good. Dan Lambert was the man who sent everyone into the ring because Wardlow was about to hit the powerbomb, wasn't he, at that point? And then Dan Lambert sent them all in. Wardlow beats them all up, like you say, he does it every week. kick out, and then he managed to recover, hits the powerbomb. That's all the notes I've got from it. But yeah, I'm glad Wardlow won.
Well, it's interesting as well because Wardlow is being portrayed as extremely dominant. Like he squashed MJF, and MJF has like barely lost a match since AEW started. He consistently beats up multiple people, and he won this match without too much jeopardy. There was the shots back ahead with the belt's probably the one jeopardy moment in the match, but he won it convincingly and did the pinfall with the foot on the chest, and he's now a dominant champ. Well,
I think he should have a long run with it.
He's a new champ, but he's also a face. And it's rare you get a face in this role. This is like a heel role, and it's like,
I feel like you can do.
Who can knock down the giant?
What's great about with it is he can do open because he's a fighting champion and a babyface. He can just do open challenges a lot for the title.
Yeah, he should fight every week on Rampage or Dynamite.
Cocky heel will try and come in, think they can get the better of him, and they fail. You can hold it for months, and it's just fun now seeing mid-card championships. You've got Wardlow with the TNT one, and then crossing over to the other company, but Bobby Lashley and Gunther.
Yeah,
it feels very similar. Guys. These sort of dominant big guys holding these mid-card titles. I love it.
Yeah,
so I'm not complaining.
It's good use of mid-card title.
I think it's a good use of the mid-card titles to put these dominant guys who you've got your world champion at the moment, so you don't want to put the world title on them yet. Or again, maybe in Bobby Lashley's case, probably might not ever hold it again. But sort of certainly for Wardlow, I think he will at some point. But you're not ready to put it on him yet, so you put this on him, have a dominant run, can lose it, and then maybe a few months after he loses it, he goes for the world title. I think it's a really good transition. It's how WWE used to use the Intercontinental title back in the day.
Yeah,
they don't so much do it now. But yeah, I think that's a really good idea for Wardlow.
Yeah, no, I definitely.
I don't know where Scorpio the Sky goes from here, but I'm sure he'll be fine.
I actually think Scorpio and Paige should go for a tag run. Just do because they haven't done much tag team work. It tends to be individual and then someone in the background. Usually Sky with Paige in the background. So I think if they had a little tag team run, I don't think that's the worst thing for them. I think Scorpio's done well as a singles guy, but I think goes into the tag division now. We got Smart Mark Sterling backstage with Tony Nese, trying to sign a petition to get Swerve taken off the roster.
Yeah, so he asked the wrong person really because he asked Keith Lee.
Yeah, went up to Keith Lee, and then later he went up to Orange Cassidy. Yeah, I thought it might have been Hook because Danhausen was there. That's why.
I was gonna say actually, has Hookhausen been dropped? Because I keep seeing Hook on his own. I keep seeing Danhausen on his own.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know.
I hope it hasn't because I think it was good and people seem to be like it. So it'd be confusing if it.
Yeah, that's why it confused me that Danhausen was here with Cassidy.
So Danhausen, obviously he came in with the best friends originally, didn't he?
Yeah,
but he hasn't been with them for a while, so it's a bit confusing. But he just seems to pop. Danhausen just seems to pop up all over the place. You've got to get him on the show as a cameo, I guess. So if Hook's not on the show, use Orange Cassidy.
And then we set up a match for, I think it's for Rampage this week, Cassidy against Tony Nese.
Yeah, so if Cassidy loses, then he'll sign. He said he'll sign it, but Cassidy's not going to
lose. It's a very silly stipulation for a match, really, but at least it's got something on this match.
Tony Nese getting more matches. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, well, he's got more character than he did in WWE currently.
Yeah, and his matches are good, so I'm not complaining about that.
Mark Sterling helps him out a bit. Then
we got, after this, Luchasaurus and Christian in the ring.
Yeah, your faves.
What did we make this week? You gave Luchasaurus your top mark last week. I think I gave Christian mine the week before.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Very intrigued by all of this. And what was interesting here is we had Matt Hardy come out and confront them as they're just goading Jungle Boy. Matt Hardy comes out. And interesting, Matt Hardy's promo where he said that he regrets what he did with.
I'm glad he kind of addressed that.
Yeah, the
I like it when heels don't just completely forget, like babyfaces. Don't completely forget their past as heels.
Yeah,
pretend they're a completely new character.
And it also fits really well because obviously everyone knows about Hardy Christian history.
I know
I know it wasn't.
My only criticism of it is a little bit of it is they keep going back to this. Christian and Matt Hardy, I think, have already had a match. I think, obviously, you're going to get the Hardy boys in the Jurassic Express. I feel like you've had quite a lot between the Hardys and the Hardy family office before.
We have, but
Tony Khan seems to love Matt Hardy versus Christian. The idea of Matt Hardy and Christian together. I don't mind it because, obviously, you've got a lot of history to play on. But
I just thought here considering Hardy said that he basically done what Christian's currently doing. He's exploited people, and it's not the right thing to do. So I think Matt Hardy is the right person to come out here.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing we're setting up Luchasaurus be Matt Hardy. I don't really think Christian's going to wrestle.
No, I think Matt Hardy versus Luchasaurus. Like I say, Christian versus Matt Hardy does not need
just a Luchasaurus squash.
But Luchasaurus beating up Matt Hardy and getting a big win over Matt Hardy absolutely makes sense.
Yeah,
great presentation again for Luchasaurus.
Unexpected Luchasaurus singles.
What did you make of the actual promo itself? Because the lines in here again, using Jeff Hardy's 2 lines actually that use Jeff Hardy's sort of addiction problems.
Yeah, I feel like Christian Cage weirdly has taken on the MJF mantle.
He basically
being an outrageous savage heel. It's really bizarre that he's taken on the MJF role, but he's doing it all right. I mean, it's not the first time we've heard Jeff Hardy's alcohol abuse being used against him in a promo.
And this is a thing about it. It
Samoa Joe,
always
Sheamus.
Be used. It was used back in the day years ago. Then it was used again a few years ago in WWE with Samoa Joe, with Sheamus, and now again. And I know obviously they must speak to Matt. They must speak to Jeff probably.
Oh yeah, yeah.
My issue with it isn't the actual segment. I don't mind them playing on history as long as everyone is okay with it. But it's my problem with it is the reactions, the difference in reactions to it. Because I feel like when WWE did this, everyone was critical of it. Yeah. And saying WWE shouldn't use this as it's a real life issue. But from the reaction I've seen so far from them doing it here, everyone seems to love it. And I like it, but I didn't mind it then either. I just feel like there's got to be some consistency with that.
It's one of those. I don't mind. I don't think he needed to go there, but
it suits Christian's character too.
Yeah, Christian's current character is just saying the most outrageous things he can to people. So that works. I don't think you need to do it to build a storyline between Christian and Matt Hardy, or Luchasaurus on Christian's behalf and Matt Hardy. I don't think you need to go into his brother's drinking problems, but then I don't think you need to go into Luchasaurus's father passing away either. But that's where Christian currently is, and
it does suit his character.
Christian as a character, if he's going to insult Christian's dad passed away and then his mum wanting Christian as his new father, then he's going to obviously mention Jeff Hardy's drinking problems. So
exactly. So it does fit.
It does all fit.
So I quite liked it, especially the first line when he said that, because Matt said that what Christian did was disgusting, and then because Christian took sort of offense to Matt saying he was Jungle Boy's friend, which by the way I think he's got a good point on, because Matt Hardy and Jungle Boy don't have any prior relationships really. And Christian was like, your decision making is so bad, basically you're making your brother look like the sober one. Which I thought was a clever worded line. Then the second one later on was a little bit like more just cheap heat. But what I liked as well was he mentioned that Matt's ego is out of control, and he said he will use anything to stay relevant, and he mentioned getting his wife and kids on TV, and he even mentioned a lawnmower.
I know.
Matt, he was like, he'll use a lawnmower. I thought he was going to say something about Bray Wyatt, but he didn't. He didn't go there. I thought he might say something about the whole Wyatt stuff in WWE. He didn't, which I was surprised at, because they love making WWE references. And then, that's when Matt sort of started taking offense. And I was like, Matt, don't get violent, because this is not going to end well for you, mate. So Matt stupidly starts attacking Christian, and then Luchasaurus just absolutely destroys him, chokeslams him through a table. I would get some backup if I were you, Matt, because that ain't going to work. Ain't going to go well for you. 2-on-1, and it's Luchasaurus is one of them.
Yeah, I know, but you just need. At the moment, we're just building up Christian Cage and Luchasaurus as
maybe
heels.
Jeff's. Maybe I don't know if Jeff's coming back or when, but maybe they bring him back somewhere down the line.
I mean, I wonder how long they're going to leave, and I don't know Jungle Boy's injury status, but I wonder how long they're going to hold off on this Jungle Boy, because when he returns, it's going to be a big pop, considering how
it might be Jungle Boy outrageous. That comes back and helps Matt, to be fair. That would probably make more sense in the storyline.
Yeah, and then a weird Matt Hardy Jungle Boy. Again, I think that's really a team that no one really particularly wants to see. I think obviously what we've got here is, I actually don't know, because I was about to say the match we all want to see. I actually don't know what a match we want to see is. Do we want to see Jungle Boy v Christian, or do you want to see Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus? Like, I think there's two really anticipated matches here.
Oh, well, I think you do, but I think you do both. I think.
Yeah,
but
I don't know which one. What's the big one for like a pay-per-view match? It's probably Christian Jungle Boy.
Christian feels like the bigger deal because it's coming to him. Right? He's the one that's controlling this whole situation. But also, Luchasaurus shouldn't be used as a setup because he's so dominant and big. Yeah. So it's a difficult one. Both of them are big matches, but maybe you do a tag match to set up a single match or something.
I think this is a bit of an off one, but the way they're building Luchasaurus, I wouldn't mind seeing Luchasaurus go for the TNT title. Luchasaurus Wardlow, that could be a proper decent match. Like two just dominant big guys. Luchasaurus presented as this
down the line,
heel.
Not
this isn't one for now. This is just an aside. I think that would be a great
that is a
TNT
good
title feud.
Especially if Wardlow does do what we say and sort of do open challenges, keeps beating everyone.
Yeah.
And then eventually you can have Christian get in the mind of Luchasaurus and say, look, you should be going for these titles. And then he comes out and just beats Wardlow eventually to be the one to do it or something. But something like that, if you build him well enough.
Personally, aside from a match against Jungle Boy, I'm not fussed about seeing Christian wrestle. I'd rather he played this manager role and he was just behind Luchasaurus.
In the ring, but I like
we can propel Luchasaurus up to Wardlow level. I don't see why not with Luchasaurus. He's
it's similar to, in a way, it's similar to MJF and Wardlow, isn't it? Because you said Christian's playing the MJF role.
Yeah,
Luchasaurus is also kind of playing the Wardlow role.
Yeah,
it's slightly darker, different version, but it's a similar vibe. So
yeah, it is.
Then we got Claudio backstage with Shivani and Jake Hager. Jake Hager directly says WWE here, which is interesting.
Never been a champion in WWE, never been a champion here. Singles champion.
It was okay. Setting up a big match for next week between the two of them. I think it makes sense to do that as a one-on-one match because they teased it in Blood and Guts. They've got the history. I think
Claudio was like, I've got an unbeaten record here, and next week I'll make it 3-0. I was like, you've only had 2 matches, Claudio. Calm down. Like you're not exactly like you're on a massive unbeaten streak. But
that was a bit silly. But
mentioning is.
Then we got the tag team match between Swerve and Keith Lee versus Butcher and Blade. This was decent enough, I thought.
It was. This is your kind of standard team, slightly on the rocks. There was a point where Keith Lee just smashed Swerve to the ground.
Accidentally. But Blade moved out of the way.
Yeah, but they still won the match.
They still won. And the match was good. There wasn't loads to say about it. I think the after angle was the more interesting part of it, really.
It was, yeah. You had Starks and Hobbs come out to just prolong this feud again.
Yeah.
And then calling themselves the best tag team ever, and that then triggers
the Young Bucks,
who even said, he was like, you might as well have gone back there and
played our music. Yeah.
Was pretty funny. Although haven't we seen
this is my issue. So we had a 3-way at the pay-per-view. We had Starks and Hobbs versus Keith Lee and Swerve versus Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus.
Yeah,
we've literally had the same thing, but with Young Bucks replacing Jurassic Express.
Yeah, I did think
it's a bit weird.
Seen this before, it's a different champion, but
it's a bit of an odd one for them to. I thought the Young Bucks were going to say, look, if you want to prove you're the best tag team, why don't you face each other?
Yeah,
the winner gets us. That's what I thought they were going to do. But no, it's a triple threat tag team next week, which I'm sure the Young Bucks have got to retain on.
I said it, a month ago whenever we spoke about this with the
I thought the Jurassic Express were going to lose then. But
I don't think either of these two teams are tag team championship level.
Well, especially considering teams. Especially, I think Swerve and Keith could be, but the way they are sort of teasing the breakup, it wouldn't make any sense.
I just think all 4 of them, Starks, Hobbs, Swerve, and Lee, are all better as singles. Personally, in my opinion, I'd rather see them all have singles runs.
I do get what you're saying, especially. I mean, Starks already has his title.
Tag teams on AEW with there's just so many tag teams. I just think to throw people that are better as singles in tag team is a bit, unless you're going to do Danielson and Moxley, like some massive tag team like that, or some huge, but.
I do get what you're saying, but and one of the really noticeable things I've got on my notes from this as well is when Young Bucks come out and call themselves the best tag team in the world, there were huge FTR chants.
Yeah, well, I think this is the long build. I know we've seen it before, but FTR v the Bucks, just all out
for all to decide
proper tag team match, and I would be surprised.
FTR going for their 4th belt.
Yeah, I would
assuming they've still got all the others.
Yeah, I just think FTR just are the team at the moment, and
Yeah,
that is the
exactly.
match we all want to see, even though we've seen it before. It's
Yeah,
just booked so well.
agreed.
We then got Eddie Kingston
Yep.
interviewed in the ring by Shivani, and he started off by congratulating Wardlow, which was nice,
and Claudio.
Yeah, and then
obviously
said congratulations to the whole team, even Claudio, which was interesting. And then he's, again, speaking of rivalries that go on, he then starts on about Jericho again, like keep it on Kingston Jericho, because that's been going on for a long time now.
Yeah,
I know we've had teams and factions.
Yeah,
and
they did all that to build sort of the one-on-one again.
Yeah, but we then got Jericho appear backstage with Jericho Appreciation Society.
Yeah,
and just randomly took out Ruby Soho in a spot where Ruby Soho put her hand in the door. You see,
I didn't really pay that much attention to it.
It was pretty. Like,
I thought it was a little bit random. I know Ruby Soho interfered in the.
Yeah, like Kingston and Ruby Soho don't have much of a history together.
No, and I thought this was a little bit random. I thought it would have made more sense if it was someone like
Santana or Ortiz.
Well, because Santana, the news actually really
is
that Santana's got a serious injury from that blood. Because we said last week he got
he was
bad, and he's got a serious injury, so he's going to be out for quite a while.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I don't know what you're doing with Ortiz at the moment. Have him get this. He takes out Ortiz. You can bring Ortiz back in a few weeks or whatever, but he's not going to do much without Santana for the time being. And that would have made sense. But yeah, Ruby Soho, I mean, I guess it gives Ty Conti versus Ruby Soho a bit more heat, but it felt a bit random to me.
It was just, I was watching it and Ruby had no one.
I also expected Jericho to
just
do
put
the
a hand
fireball
into
thing
the
again.
door.
I thought that's what he was going to do. I thought he was going to do a fireball to someone because he's a wizard.
Although I will say the door slam was like pretty brutal. Like that was full pelt slamming that door, and her hand was definitely inside the door.
Yeah,
so that would have actually hurt Ruby Soho. That wasn't like.
Side note: it was pretty impressive of Jericho to do that from a car park in Glasgow because he was in Glasgow last night.
That was he.
Obviously pre-taped. I was pretending in my head. I was like, because he's doing a tour at the moment, Inside the Ropes tour. He's doing like he's basically got a crowd. They're asking him, is it like a live interview in front of crowd? He's done Belfast, London, Glasgow. It might have been London last night. I think it was Glasgow though. And he was there last night. So I was thinking, oh, well, that's very clever of you, Chris Jericho. What, you in a car park just like after that, are you? It's obviously pre-taped before when he was in the States. Yeah. Then we got
the Dark Order come out. I was actually thinking, I haven't seen them for a while, Dark Order.
So Alan Angels left AEW last week, formerly known as Five. So he's not in the group anymore, and there was no Colt Cabana here, so I don't know what his status is at the moment. I think he's still employed. He's ever in
Dark Order, yeah.
But all the other members, I think, unless I'm forgetting someone, were there. Obviously, Stu Grayson left a while back, so he's not there. But you've still got Uno, John Silver and Alex Reynolds, Preston Vance, Anna Jay, and -1 were in the ring, basically, weren't they?
Yeah, and this is another Brody tribute. They do it every time they come back to Rochester.
Yeah, I was thinking, why is there a Dark Order segment? What's this all about? And then I realised where we were, and I was like, that's why.
Yeah, and I mean, and then they said we're staying together, which I didn't know there was really much talk about them all breaking up. I guess the people leaving.
Yeah, because Alan Angels is. I think people were thinking, well, is Uno going to stick around there? Is Preston Vance going to get his? I don't know, his contract's up. Like, I think people were speculating that one by one they were all probably going to. Maybe not Silver and Reynolds, because I think they're a good tag team on their own. But the rest of them, especially John Silver, like you wouldn't get rid of him. But like maybe the group would split and you wouldn't see the Dark Order in that form anymore. But it looks like you're getting the 6 of them, especially Anna Jay as well. I feel like she's a little bit wasted in that group at the moment.
She is a bit lost, Anna Jay. Yeah. She is a bit. But
this was okay. It was just a bit of fun, wasn't it?
Nice, yeah. Then QT Marshall is the obligatory heel to come out and like
he offers
basically start a fight with
challenges a kid to a match. Yeah, and then Hangman comes down, helps them. They all get their spots in him, and then -1 actually gets on the mic and says he's going to wait till he's 19. I think he said to pin him.
Yeah.
It was a fun bit of TV spot.
That's a fun match in 9 years' time.
Got some Brody chants. Nice thing for him to do.
Yeah,
I just think the Dark Order need a little bit of a change of direction. Evil Uno did say in there that it's a new era for the Dark Order, and it sounded like they want to do something a bit different.
They have been off TV for a while. They're like one of those, like, staples of AEW that I just haven't seen for a while in this whole
and like
New Japan.
Some of them have been leaving, and there hasn't really been any direction for them. So hopefully something new comes up, because I think the ones they've got left, actually, I mean, Colt Cabana, I don't think added too much to the group. Alan Angels was a good wrestler, but I think the ones they've got left, Evil Uno kind of is that leader, almost speaker for them. I think Preston Vance is really good in the ring from what I've seen of him, and the Silver and Reynolds are a great tag team. So I think you've got potential there, and then obviously you've got Anna Jay she needs a bit more of a direction, and then Negative One's just there for sort of comedy value, really. But Savage Line from QT Marshall as well, saying how long we put up with this charity case.
I know,
the kids. Bit harsh, mate.
It is brutal. But yeah, we then got a decent match: Penta, Oscuro, and Roosh.
Yeah. So Roosh's first singles match.
Yeah,
in AEW.
Again, speaking of rivalries that have gone a long time, Andrade and Penta and Phoenix, it's gone on forever. I can't remember a time where this wasn't happening, this feud, but he now has Roosh with him, so there is again a fresh element to it. Decent match. Penta Oscuro can't have bad matches.
No, he's great, isn't he? Roosh is a good wrestler as well.
First, I've actually seen Roosh wrestle. I think maybe I've seen it once before. He's in a battle royal, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's been in battle royal.
I haven't really seen him in a one-on-one match before, so I thought he looked quite good here. But obviously the ending, Penta Oscuro's mask coming off again.
Yeah, I know how much you hate that.
The thing is, I would hate it if it was repeated. That would annoy me. But it's every single Penta match, even when it's a match that doesn't need it. It's like a nothing match. It then makes what's the point of him wearing a mask anymore? I might as well just not have one. It's just ridiculous. The most overdone spot in wrestling. This is.
It is, yeah, and it's been going on for years. Rey Mysterio had it a lot as well over the years, and they've done it so many times in AEW in the last.
It loses all impact.
So.
If you did it once ever to Rey Mysterio or once ever to Penta, it would mean something. But it just loses all meaning. So yeah.
I agree. I do agree with you. And
for the sake of a finish on a match on Dynamite, I just don't think it's worthwhile taking off someone's mask just so you can get a cheap win. There are other ways to do it.
The match was good. A lot of playing up to the crowd from Roosh as a heel, sort of package pile driver from Penta. And there was a fight outside. Jose and the assistant and Alex Abrantes were having a full-on brawl outside, which was quite funny because they don't really fight or wrestle. And then it finished with there was a distraction from the referee, low blow behind the ref's back, and then Roosh pinned Penta. So I reckon we might even get another match between them two, but we're certainly going to get. We'll probably get a tag match, won't we? That's probably the way it's building to.
I think so,
Andrade versus the Lucha Brothers.
Yeah, I think that's
the logical conclusion to this. Maybe we'll even have Jose and Abrahantes involved, and it will be a six-man tag, but they don't do anything. Now, I could see them doing that based on the build.
Wouldn't surprise me. We then got a little bit backstage with Jay Lethal.
This promo I didn't think was very good, actually.
Yeah, Samoa Joe's accepted to fight him at Ring of Honor.
I have no interest. I mean, I might. I don't know if I'm going to watch it or not because it's not technically an AEW show.
I probably won't.
We won't predict it and review it because it's Ring of Honor, not AEW. I know they're technically owned by the same person. I do want to see Samoa Joe wrestle. But at the same time, I have no interest in this feud, and I don't think it's been built very well at all.
No, it hasn't. No,
I just don't care. Honestly, I don't care.
No, I don't care. It hasn't helped that Joe's been injured for a lot of the feud.
Yeah, that hasn't helped it. If Joe was on TV every week, I'd probably love it.
Yep. Then we got the Acclaimed and the Gun Club against Fuego del Sol and
Fuego del Sol's role now is just a team of as many random people as possible.
I still can't get over Leon Ruff and the Bear Country have a trio's name, Ruffin it.
Really random.
I can't believe they've got where's that come from? There must be a dark thing or something.
This was a really quick match, and it was all about the infight in between the Arse Boys and the Acclaimed.
Yeah,
so
I mean, a different side to the Arse Boys. They stopped the rap at the start.
Yeah, I really liked.
I
quite liked it.
I mean, this is all to turn the Acclaimed face. That's essentially what this whole thing has been about.
Yeah, so they Yeah, he stops him at the start. Then in the ring, in the match, he kind of takes the win.
Stole the win.
I think it was, stole the win from Caster after Caster hit the mic drop. The other guys were there just to get beaten. The other four guys completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
And then afterwards was interesting. Billy Gunn goes mad shouting at his sons, telling them to stop it. But then he turns around, punches Caster, and does a full Fameasser as well on Bowen. So he was doing this like scissor me, like he normally does, and the scissoring has stopped, and instead he gets the Fameasser.
It's
it was short lived.
It was short-lived. It was fun. I did enjoy it. I'd actually preferred it if Billy Gunn had stayed on the Acclaim side. I think that would have been a funnier story.
I think it would have as well.
But we're obviously going to get a Gun Club and Acclaimed feud now. Probably it's not a surprise at all. This has been kind of on the.
No, I thought they would. I thought they would keep it together a bit longer though, because I think people were enjoying it.
Yeah, like I say, I think the whole purpose of all of this was just to turn the Acclaim face. It was just a long-winded, and the Gun Club was just a vehicle to get the Acclaimed face, which I think they probably are now. The Acclaimed, I think they're so
popular, aren't they? Like, it makes sense.
Yeah, and then Miro had a promo backstage.
I didn't even write any notes on this.
Just calling out Malachi Black basically. From that fatal
need to see him
match.
on my TV more, Miro.
But a Miro Black feud is great.
Yeah,
well up for that. I don't really know. I'm guessing Black loses. So Miro seems to be the dominant, but who knows what? It's just a good feud. Let's not worry about who's going to win.
Yeah, at the moment.
Then we got Thunderstorm against Nyla Rose and Marina Shafir.
Yeah, this match was okay. It was in the typical women's spot on Dynamite where they don't seem very focused on it. On Rampage, you sometimes they got the main event on Rampage. They've got a longer match. Here, it's just the match before the main event. Like it doesn't.
Is. Yeah, that's usually the spot it's in as well. It's usually in that spot before the main event.
Yeah, whatever it is, 9:30, I think it is in their time or whatever it is. It's always the same time. Match was okay. It wasn't too much.
Yeah, nothing special. Thunder got the.
I think Thunderstorm are a good team. I know we spoke about the name, but I actually think they work together quite well.
Do
the
actually.
Finisher was a double move. They look right. I would love it if they built this over, because you haven't really got many. I know you've got the baddies from Cargill, but you haven't got many women's sort of teams in.
No, well, you had Conti and Jay Bass.
So so if they build these up as a team, and Storm's constantly sort of helping Thunder Rosa, and then a few months down, like 6 months down the line, Storm turns on her. Yeah, and you get them again, and then maybe Storm wins a title from her. A bit of a Sasha Bailey style feud, but with these two.
Yep, no, I'm all for that. But yeah, this was good.
It keeps Toni Storm as well, because I was worried about her when she lost the title, lost her match. I was thinking she's just going to do what Ruby Soho did now: go away for ages, not be on TV. Yeah. Like a lot of AEW women, they cycle 3 or 4 in. The rest don't get used. And I thought, we probably won't see Toni Storm for a while. Then she'll come back. But no, this keeps her. If she's teaming with Thunder Rosa, this keeps her really relevant, and so I'm happy about that as well. Then we got a little promo, didn't we, before the main event from FTR offering a rematch to the Briscoes, and that's might be another reason to watch the Ring of Honor show, because
Ring of Honor,
FTR were wrestling, and that match was apparently, I've seen a lot of people say it's their match for the year so far, the first one.
Yeah, so. And I think we've also got Wheeler Yuta v Daniel Garcia.
So there is quite a lot of AEW. There's quite a lot.
Maybe it's worth watching.
I think I might watch it, but I don't think anyone who's open for a review on the channel or doing our predictions, I don't think we're going to do that.
No.
I think we might watch it casually.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, but for 3 matches,
there's no pressure then to watch it on the day either. I can watch it over a couple of day period.
Yeah,
enjoy it, whatever.
Exactly.
Skip any matches I don't care about, which there might be a couple lower down on the card. So yeah, I think that's probably what we'll do for that. And then we got the main event. Yeah,
well, we also just missed out Jade Cargill, Stokely Hathaway. Kind of.
Oh yeah, so Layla Gray
fell out a little bit. Layla Gray, she wasn't. Cargill wasn't happy with Stokely for getting Layla Gray as like an interim baddie. Yeah, I quite like how he's like, there's an interim champion, there could be an interim baddie.
I quite like it.
But then she was like, if she fails, it's on your ass. I mean, I think it's a bit early to be teasing a breakup between Stokely and Cargill.
Well, yeah, I think obviously Layla Gray is going to end up impressing. Because otherwise it'd be a waste of time.
Yeah, no, you're probably right, but that was a minor aside. And then we got our main event, the AEW Interim World Championship.
Yep.
Jon Moxley and Brody King. What did you make of this match? It
was a good match. It wasn't an amazing match, but it was It was good. It was more like a brawler fight type. I mean, Brody King's a big man. Mox is like a brawler, really, isn't he?
Yeah.
There was a really cool bit where they were doing chops to each other, and Mox like flew across the ring, sold it like crazy. I really liked that bit. Brody King is impressive. Nice. I like his cannonballs that he does.
I think it is a good opponent for a one-off TV title match. It does kind of work. Going back to what we said earlier, I think it is. It's not a bad. It's not the opponent I would have necessarily picked because I wouldn't.
No, I didn't see it coming.
The title picture, but it does work. Yeah, so they've done well. I think it was. They say it was an okay match. It wasn't good. It wasn't great. It wasn't anything. I'm not going to remember this.
Yeah, I would say it was good.
6 months' time.
Say it was amazing. I would say it's just a good match.
But I think AEW they miss a trick again here where they don't build this match up properly throughout the night. Like, there's not much about like why
they did do a promo. Malachi, I really enjoyed Malachi's promo.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Yeah, Malachi did. I was going to say we should have.
Moxley did one as
Brody
well.
King.
Yeah, but Malachi Black's one I thought was actually really good earlier on in the night, which we didn't mention because it was tied to this main event. But yeah, so I think they did okay actually.
I'm just thinking of what WWE do where they tend to start the show with a promo that leads to the main event. AEW sometimes they never do that. AEW they never tie anything from one segment to the next. There's loads of sections.
It'll be 1 week to the next when it.
Yeah, loads of segments in one night, but they never lead on to anything. They never, very rarely, other than Tony Nese finally had 2 promos and 2 segments in one night, but one doesn't lead on to the other. So like there is I might mention this before, but when you bring up that Becky Lynch Liv Morgan title match they did on Raw, that felt like the most special match ever. Even though Becky Lynch retained, it was like they built Liv up so well in that night. And WWE do this better where they let things breathe a bit more and they put more emphasis behind matches, whereas AEW just throw 1,000 things at you and just want you, and it's hard to get really into. So like this title match, I think we all knew Moxley was going to win.
Oh yeah,
but it was hard to like. At no point did I ever even consider Brody King might win, and there was never anything anyone did at any point to.
I get what you're saying because they didn't make the
WWE gave Liv a big backstory, showed how important it was to Liv to win, and it made you think, and I remember thinking, I thought Liv was going to win the title here. Like they do make you believe they put something behind the challenger. Whereas AEW don't always do that. They do for pay-per-views, but for these, TV title matches, there's not much.
No, I guess they're just using it as basically a match rather than a story, so they don't bother. But
I think it was just a bit hard to get really into this match.
I mean, I never believed Brody King was winning, of course, because Moxley's only just had the title anyway.
Match on the weekly show should be really into it. But yeah.
What did you make of the finish? Because Mox used the submission here, not the paradigm shift. And Brody's just sort of passed out, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, this isn't that surprising a finish because the Blackpool Combat Club's thing of being kind of making people pass out.
Yeah, which I like. So I think it fits it better now.
It does work, and I always like when a champion or just a top guy in general has more than one move to finish people off.
Yeah,
like we've seen it with Roman when he just started bringing the guillotine. I love just like
he can still beat weaker opponents by the spear, but sometimes he needs to make
Moxley can hit you with a paradigm shift, or he can make you pass out. He can beat you.
And the same we've seen it with Brian as well. He uses about 10 different submissions.
Yeah, I just think it's a brilliant, brilliant use of. We see it with. People like Charlotte Flair.
I agree, and I think on Brody King as well because he passed out, he didn't tap out. I think it works better rather than him. If he'd have done like one paradigm,
and he shouldn't.
I think you'd have to do at least like 2 or 3 on him.
And Brody King shouldn't really tap out like this kind of character he is. It'd weaken him if he tapped out. Even to Moxley, I think it'd weaken him just to submit. So good finish, good match, and Moxley's reign continues. Interesting what they do with his reign, considering there's a lot of top stars out injured right now, like specifically top stars with Omega, Danielson, Cole, Punk, MJF's contract situation. That is basically the top tier of AEW wrestling. So Moxley is going to find it hard to get a decent program with someone unless you put like a Miro in the title picture, or I'm trying to think of people that you could put against him, heels. Because the top heels are like, Christian Cage or Jericho, or there's not many top heels.
And we've done Moxley and Jericho before. We don't need to do that again.
Maybe
that was like the very first.
Maybe you could push Guevara to that level. I don't know.
It's really interesting, actually. It's a good point because there's not an obvious. I don't think there's an obvious big heel at the moment to go for Moxley I guess for the next pay-per-view.
We don't, and you can't really bank on, Omega return in a couple of weeks. Or
I was kind of surprised we didn't get an angle after this, actually, from the point of view of Mox. We did get something.
I was, yeah.
As after the show, I'm not sure if this was part of the show or I just saw a feed up that was continuing after here.
Oh yeah, no, I saw that as well. Yeah,
it was Darby Allin and Sting.
That wasn't on TV. Yeah,
no. So they come down. So it looks like we're getting a Darby, Sting, Malachi, Brody King thing, which is cool. But
the Malachi Black is just like the feud with Miro as well.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if because it wasn't on TV. Maybe it's not meant to be anything. I don't know, but it was on my feed.
Yeah, I saw it as well.
Yeah, so that was interesting, but yeah, nothing set up for Moxley here, really.
No, I know. But what I will say, I want to praise this Dynamite as a whole because they used their roster and put them all back in feuds after the last 2 months of New Japan build, and it's been so messy and it's been hard to build anything. We've got a new TNT champ. We saw the women's champ. We saw the AEW title defended. The tag champs come out and set up their next match. So they're moving all their
and all the old, a lot of the older feuds as well that were happening before, like your Kingston Jericho, your Andrade stuff. That's all sort of come back to the line, so, like even the Starks and Keith Lee stuff, and all kind of carrying on now. Where it felt like it was on pause, didn't it?
It was, and I think considering they've got a lot of injuries, they used basically everyone else they could have used here. This is pretty, other than a lot of the women's division, because they only show a couple on per week. They used a lot of their main guys here. They didn't leave many.
I think they have to at the moment. I think they have to use. They're going to have to use a lot of it. Whereas they were cycling more people in and out, I think at the moment they're going to have to use a lot of their top and mid-tier wrestlers on TV every week at the moment because, like you say, that a lot of their top guys are injured or missing for various reasons.
Yeah,
we've got like no Cole, Fish, O'Reilly as well. I don't know if you mentioned them, but
all
of them are out, I believe, as well. Like all of them, it's crazy. So
I know Jungle
and now
Boy's
you've got no Santana. So like, is Ortiz going to do anything?
Crazy amount of injuries currently. So I think I got a bit disillusioned with AEW during the New Japan build. But this AEW is what I really enjoy, and I'm all for it. Obviously, it'd be better if we had Punk, MJF, and Bryan, and all those guys back. But I think they're doing a good job considering they've got so many injuries. Like we talk about WWE's injuries, and there is a lot of WWE with Orton and Cody. But I feel like AEW, it's all the top guys. There's so many top wrestlers out currently of injuries. It is.
There is a lot of top guys. Yeah,
it's just a lot of injuries, and I know AEW.
Luckily, they've got
a big roster. Yeah.
Luckily, they do. Like, Tony kind of think he's justified in signing all these people now because he actually gets to use them all now. And there's no New Japan sort of thing going on now. I know he's
we've got a Ring of Honor pay-per-view coming up.
Yeah.
When is that? This weekend? Is that?
No, it's a couple of weeks away, I think.
Is it a couple of weeks? Okay, so you may still get some Ring of Honor.
Yeah. That card will get filled out. Like, I think Mercedes Martinez will probably get a match because she's the women's champion. Maybe with Serena Deeb because I think they teased that a little bit, didn't they? So I think
weren't they teaming last time, or did
they were? But then they kind of fell out.
Yeah, it's probably.
I think maybe they're teasing that a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good match.
And I don't think it's going to be a storyline that drags on for months. That I think they might just do that. The pay-per-views. But interesting. So I think decent Dynamite. Rampage was all right as well. And I think that's pretty much it for this week for AEW. We'll be back to record our WWE show in a bit later on. Follow us on Twitter at Recharge Wrestle for all the latest. Keep an eye on our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe here if you're watching it. Recharge Wrestling. If you're listening to the pod, just put it in on YouTube. You'll find us. And we'll see you next time.
Yep. Cool. See you guys.